Hello and welcome to the news on Enyimba TV. We are reaching you live from Abia, the commercial and industrial hub of Abia State, Nigeria. First, here are the top stories. Organized labor gives federal government May 31st deadline for reversal of electricity tariff hike. Court dismisses Nnamdi's fresh bail request removal from DSS custody. NAPTIP rescues 6 pregnant girls from baby factory in Abia State. These and other stories, plus foreign, business and sports, shortly. Thanks for joining us on this news update at this period. My name is Esther Chima. Now the news in details. Organized labor, comprising the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) and Trade Union Congress (TUC), has reiterated its May 31st deadline to the federal government for the federal government to meet all of its demands, which includes implementation of a new national minimum wage and reversal of the hike in electricity tariff. This followed an emergency meeting of the National Executive Council (NEC) of the NLC and TUC in response to the pressing national issues affecting Nigerian workers. Among the issues discussed by the labor leaders was the persisting non-compliance with the 2019 National Minimum Wage Act by some state governments. In the resolution jointly signed by NLC President Joe Ajero and TUC leader Festus Osifo, the labor unions also directed their members in Anambra State to mobilize for an industrial action in the event that the state government did not meet the demands of workers by May 23, 2024. Chief Justice of Nigeria Olukayode Ariwola has warned judicial officers against conduct that bring the judiciary to disrepute. He gave the warning at the opening of a 2-day workshop for judges on the review of the 2023 Election Petition Tribunal's court and appeals against the backdrop of numerous allegations of misconduct. He noted that the political matters always tend to occupy the front burners of adjudicatory activities. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi has expressed support for the proposed 300% increase in the salaries and allowances of judicial officers in the country. He stated this during a public hearing by the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters on the advancement of the welfare of the judiciary in Abuja. Fagbemi expressed displeasure over what he termed neglect in officers for close to 17 years. This position was supported by the Ministers of Justice and Finance, who elevated the urgent need for upscaling the remuneration of judicial officers to salvage the sector. Stakeholders like the National Judicial Council (NJC), the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA), the National Industrial Court (NIC), the National Salaries, Income and Wages Commission (NSIWC), and the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission (RMAFC). We are also in support of the proposal. The outcome of the public hearing is expected to be presented at the floor of the upper chamber for eventual approval and passage. Federal High Court in Abuja has again rejected a fresh bail request by the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi. Ruling on Mr. KANU'S fresh bail request, Mrs. Nyako said she could not exercise her discretion in granting the IPOB leader bail because he had jumped bail. Referencing the incident, the judge said persons who stood as sureties for Mr. KANU withdraw from the suit, while warning that any attempt by the IPOB leader's legal team to file another bail request before the court would be a gross abuse of court process. The detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi, who spoke after the court proceedings, faulted his trial, claiming it is illegal while insisting that no Nigerian court can try him. The judge ordered the DSS to grant Mr. KANU access to his legal team of 5 persons, each visiting day, and a doctor of his choice while adjourning the matter to June 19 and 20 for continuation. Justice Inyang Eko of the Federal High Court in Abuja has dismissed the request by alleged terrorist negotiator Mohammed Tuku Mamu, seeking his transfer from the custody of the Department of the State Service to the Kuje Correctional Center. Delivering the ruling, Justice Eko held that the federal government had raised the issue of incessant jailbreaks in prisons as a major ground to oppose the request for transfer to Kuje. The judge added that Mamu did not contradict or dispute the averment as required by law. According to the judge, since the averment were not challenged by Mamu, they are deemed to be facts, and facts admitted need no further proof. The judge subsequently ordered Mamu to remain in DSS custody throughout his trial for the criminal charges against him. The long-awaited student loan program will take off on Friday with 1.2 million students in federal tertiary institutions across the country. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, Akitunde Soya, who spoke at a pre-application sensitization press conference in Abuja, said 1.2 million students in federal universities, polytechnics, colleges of education and technical colleges would benefit from the first phase. He also disclosed that students of state-owned institutions will not be immediate beneficiaries, saying the scheme would take off with only students of federal government's tertiary institutions. He said the loan would not be paid to the beneficiary's account, explaining that the loan will be paid directly to the schools where the beneficiary students are studying. Enyimba TV News gathers that the nation has 226 federal tertiary institutions comprising 62 universities, 41 polytechnics, 96 monotechnics, and 27 colleges of education. Rectors and provosts of polytechnics and other technical degree awarding institutions will today debate on the proposal to replace the HND program with Bachelor of Technology. A letter signed by the Director, Human Resources of the National Board of Technical Education, Lawal Hafiz, and addressed to all rectors and provosts across Nigeria, said the meeting would also avail members the opportunity to also renew the call on the federal government to assent the bill, which seeks to remove the dichotomy between bachelor's degree and higher national diploma. The bill is seeking to remove the discrimination of polytechnic graduates from their university counterparts in employment and promotion in the workplace. The bill also seeks to end the discrimination that stakeholders in the polytechnics have, which for long they sought an end to. No fewer than 386 people, mostly women and children, have been rescued by the army in Sambisa Forest 10 years after their abduction. The acting GOC 7th Division, Brigadier General Haruna, made this known while speaking to newsmen at the outskirts of Sambisa Forest in Kondoguga local government area after welcoming the troops that conducted the 10-day operation. Brigadier General Haruna said the operation, tagged Operation Desert Sanity 111, was to clear Sambisa Forest of the remnants of all categories of terrorists, as well as provide some of them eager to surrender, as observed, the opportunity to do so. Some of those rescued from Sambisa Forest who spoke said they were in captivity for 10 years. House of Representatives Committee on National Security and Intelligence has met with the Commandant Presidential Air Fleet and the National Security Advisor over the challenges facing the presidential fleet. Speaking at the meeting in Abuja on Monday, Honorable Satomi Ahmed, the Chairman, House Committee on NSA and Intelligence, asked for the true situation of the presidential fleet. Ahmed said that a technical subcommittee had been formed to liaise between the House and other critical stakeholders to sort out all the challenges of the presidential air fleet. The chairman, who stated that they were surprised to read about the current state of the presidential air fleet, requested confirmation or otherwise from critical stakeholders. Civil Aviation Authority in the United Kingdom has reported local airline operator Air Peace to the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority (NCAA) over the airline's alleged non-compliance with some safety regulations in the UK. A spokesman of the NCAA, Michael Achimugo, said that the regulator received some complaints from its British counterpart over their Air Peace operations at the Gatwick Airport in London. Achimugo said the safety concerns were raised during a ramp inspection by UKCAA. It was learned that 2 mandatory occurrence reports on Air Peace were sent to the UKCAA, which subsequently forwarded the complaints to its Nigerian counterpart. The NCAA spokesman noted that the authority has written Air Peace to clarify the issues raised about its operations at Gatwick. Former President Goodluck Jonathan is warning that the political crisis in Rivers State, if not checked, had the potential of destabilizing not only the Niger Delta, but affecting other parts of the country. The former president stated this while performing the flag-off of a construction of a road project in the Abia local government area of Rivers State. He called on the actors to sheath their swords, put the past behind them, and work together in the interest of the people of the state and the development of the land. The former president also asked Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike and Governor Sim Fubara to cease fire so that the crisis would not snowball into a bigger regional and national challenge with greater consequences. A 63-year-old woman, Chinyere Nkwocha, has been arrested for operating a baby factory in Abia State. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, said the baby factory was uncovered by the Department of State Services, Abia State Command. 10 victims were rescued from Umunkwa village, located in Umuafai Ndume, Ibeku area of Umuahia North Local Government area, where Nkwocha operates. The victims, aged between 1 and 24 years, included 7 young girls, 6 of whom are pregnant, 1 lactating mother, and 2 boys who are minors. NAPTIP said the suspects and the victims have been handed over to its Abia State Liaison Officer for further investigation and appropriate action. You are watching Enyimba TV News. After the short break, the news continues with foreign, business, and sports updates. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Glad to know you're still there. Now the rest of the news. South Africa's top court has ruled that graft-tainted former president turned firebrand, opposition challenger Jacob Zuma, is ineligible to stand for parliament in next week's general election. The decision will outrage Zuma's supporters and stoke fears of violent unrest in the run-up of the May 29 poll, already the most competitive since the advent of most post-apartheid democracy in 1999. The top court threw out Zuma's complaint against an electoral commission decision that a previous conviction for contempt prevents him from becoming an MP, ruling that the Constitution bars anyone sentenced to more than 12 months in jail. Zuma, who left office in 2018, dogged by corruption allegations, was convicted of contempt of court during a case in 2021 and sentenced to 15 months. He eventually served less than 3 months in jail, but the court ruled this remission irrelevant. And from the business scene, the 210,000 barrel per day Port Harcourt refinery may finally commence operations by the end of July after several postponements. The new date was disclosed by the National Public Relations Officer, Independent Marketers Association of Nigeria, Chief Ukadike Chinedu. He stated that the development would stimulate economic activities, reduce the price of petroleum products, and ensure adequate supply. Enyimba TV News records that last year in December, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineken Lokobri, announced the mechanical completion and flare start-off of the biggest crude refinery in Port Harcourt. The refineries comprise 2 units, with the old plant having a refined capacity of 60,000 barrels per day, and the new plant has about 150,000 barrels per day. And now sports. Golden Eaglets head coach Manu Garuba is leaving no margin for errors in ensuring the team beat Togo on Wednesday in the second Group B match of the WAFU Zone B Under-17 Cup of Nations in Ghana. The record 5-time world champions made a stuttering start to their campaign with a barren draw against Burkina Faso at the University of Ghana on Thursday, but boosted their title defense with a 1-0 win over Niger Republic on Sunday at same venue, with Raphael Adams' 31st minute strike separating both sides. Nigeria are second in the group with 4 points, the same as Burkina Faso, who have their nose in front on a superior goal difference. Garuba looks to finish at the top of the pile and has declared their last group game against the Young Hawks another must-win. The sports story brings us to the end of the news at this period, but before we go, here is a recap of the top stories. Organized labor comprising the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC and the Trade Union Congress TUC has reiterated its May 31, 2024 ultimatum to the federal government to meet all of its demands, which includes implementation of a new national minimum wage and reversal of the hike in electricity tariff. Federal High Court in Abuja has again rejected a fresh bail request by the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi. A 63-year-old woman, Chinyere Nkwocha, has been arrested for operating a baby factory in Abia State, where 10 victims aged between 1 and 24 years, including 7 young girls, 6 of whom are pregnant, 1 lactating mother, and 2 boys who are minors, were rescued. That's our package of the news for now. Please join us for more updates in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, don't forget to subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Click on the notification bell to receive alerts when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching. On behalf of the production crew, I am Esther Chima saying stay out of trouble and enjoy the rest of your day. Good afternoon.